This information is for current 11th graders, so our rising seniors for next year for the 2022-2023 school year. Um, this is just some more specific information to make sure you have all the information you need to make good choices on your registration card and class selection for senior year. So our registration website is there, registration.weebly.com. Everyone should have gotten a registration card earlier this week in homeroom. If you've not gotten a registration card, you can feel free to come by Student Services any day during your lunch or after school, and we can get you a new card. You also should have gotten a double-sided instruction sheet that has lots of basic information about filling out the card and some registration policies and procedures. And then every rising senior was also given an early release late arrival contract. That is a required part of the registration process if you're interested in having a block or two off next year. Just some general overview of the process. You got your cards this week. You're going to spend the next week completing them, using that registration website as a resource, as well as conversation with your teachers and parents and friends. That registration website has course descriptions of every class that we have at AK. There are sequencing guides for math, science, and social studies to make sure you're taking the correct next sequential class for graduation. There are informational videos and course descriptions for each of the AP classes that we teach here that are made by our AP teachers here at AK. Those are super helpful if you're thinking about signing up for an AP class. I would strongly encourage you to watch and read those before you make that final decision. There's information there on online classes through NCVPS, and then also information about how to sign up for dual enrollment if that's something that you're interested in. Cards are due back in homeroom next Friday, February 4th. They should be completed and filled out. You will enter your request into PowerSchool while you're in homeroom, and then your teachers will collect the cards. And then we will use those cards for counselor registration appointments throughout the months of February and March. So we will make sure to sit down with every student. We're going to review the classes that you've taken to this point. We're going to look at your schedule this year, make sure that's going well, and we will use all of that information to take a look at your classes for senior year to make sure you are requesting the right classes for graduation, the right classes to get you where you want to go after graduation. We'll make sure that everything matches up right, and that you're challenging yourself to an appropriate level for senior year. Make sure that demographic information in the top right corner is correct. And when you're choosing your course requests on the card with an X, you will choose the next sequential class for English, math, science, or social studies if you have requirements remaining in those areas. You're also going to choose electives. And for you guys, you could choose early release or late arrival as electives. Those do count towards your top 8 classes. After that, you have to pick 4 alternates. We're going to write those alternates in the boxes on the back of your card. You're going to write the names in 2 bold and 2 not bold classes in those alternate boxes. Just some general guidelines. Make sure you're choosing classes that are listed on your card. You can't write something in that's not there. Make sure that you're looking at the prerequisites and teacher recommendations that might be marked next to a class. Some of the classes have an application as well. If you need more information about that, just let a counselor know. And then we want to make sure that you and a parent have signed that card before you turn it in on February 4th. Remember, there's 2 formats of classes. We have those semester classes that meet every day for 1 semester, and then we have A-Day, B-Day classes that are marked every other day for the whole school year. The biggest thing there, those A-Day, B-Day classes are marked in bold font on your registration card. Make sure that those are being chosen in pairs. So when you're looking at your top 8 classes, make sure you have an even number of A-Day, B-Day classes in your choices. Remember the different levels. We have standard level and honors level. Those honors level classes are going to move more quickly. They're going to put more independence and responsibility on the student. There is going to be a little bit deeper scope of work required in those classes, and as a result, you get an extra boost in your GPA by 0.5 when you're calculating GPA. So if you get an A in a standard class, that's 4.0 in your GPA. If you get an A in an honors class, that calculates as 4.5 into your GPA. If you think you want to take on some honors classes senior year and you've not done so, that's a great chance to maybe increase your rigor for senior year and try that out. Your current teachers are going to be the ones that will help you decide if you're ready to move up to that. If you're looking to decide what your next core classes are going to be, Obviously, if you've taken English 3 this year, next year you're going to do some form of English 4, whether that's standard, honors, or AP. Math is going to be a little bit different for everybody depending on what your track is and what your goals are after high school. In general, if you've taken Math 3, you can go to Math 4. If you're in Math 4 honors this year, you have the option to go to pre-calculus or AP Stat for next year. And if you're taking honors pre-calculus this year as a junior, you do have the option to take AP Statistics or AP Calculus senior year. The social studies requirements have changed a little bit. You are taking some form of American history this year. Next year, as a senior, you will either need to take an economics and personal finance class or another social studies elective if you've not already taken a social studies elective. So if you have taken world history, civics and economics, and American history in some form, as well as some other social studies elective, whether that's sociology, African American studies, AP psychology, anything like that. Those count as your fourth social studies. If you've already taken one, you don't need to take another one next year. If you've not taken another one, then you'll take either this economics and personal finance class or some form of a social studies elective. For science, this year you're probably taking environmental science in some form or chemistry in some form. If you have taken earth science, biology, and chemistry, you do not have to take a science senior year. There's certainly lots of great science electives that are open to you, but no more graduation requirements. For electives, always look for things you're interested in, things you want to learn more about. If there's a class on the card that you want a description of, please refer to that course description guide that's on our registration website. And again, make sure that you're considering your course load as a whole. We want to make sure that you are challenging yourself. Senior year, it's important to take classes that are interesting to you and that are challenging, but we don't want you to take on too much. Just a note about alternates, make sure those alternates are written in the boxes on the back of your card and make sure they're not duplicated. So if you have a class as a top choice, don't list it as an alternate, and it should not be listed in one box if it's listed in the other. So any class should only be marked on your card one time in any way. A note about AP classes, these are college level classes that potentially can earn you college credit in high school, depending on how you do on the exam at the end of the class. Our AP teachers here have put together amazing videos and course descriptions for you to give you a real sense of what those classes require, topics that would be covered, things that are expected in each of those classes. So please, if you're considering taking any AP classes next year, take a look at that part of the website so that you can take advantage of that resource that the teachers have created. I think they did a really good job giving you a good idea of exactly what each class is going to expect. A few notes that have changed from past years about a couple AP classes. AP Physics 1 next year is now a year-long 8A B-Day class. It used to be a double-blocked year-long class, but the curriculum has changed a little bit per College Board. And so that class is now being offered as a more traditional 8A B-Day class. AP Calculus, you'll see on your card there is an option to select just AP Calculus AB, and that is an 8A B-Day year-long class. There's also the option on your card that we've taught in years past, which is AP Calculus AB in the fall and BC in the spring. So if you just want to take AB, you do have that option on your card for next year. If you want to take classes through NCVPS, that is an option for you. Those are for classes that we don't teach in the building, maybe a language or an AP class that we're not able to offer. If you're interested in that, talk to Mr. Webb, or you can visit his website there at akvc3.com/ncvps to get all of the admission requirements, the classes, the enrollment process, and all of that information. I do want to take a minute and talk about dual enrollment. This is an amazing opportunity that we have partnered with Central Piedmont Community College to let high school kids take college classes. You get college credit. You also get high school credit. It goes on your transcript. It's a really great opportunity and a way to experience college classes while you're still in high school. Their admission requirements and enrollment process are a little bit separate and different from our registration process. Because of that, we want to make sure that you're filling out your registration card in full by choosing all of the classes you would take if you just stayed at AK. And then if you are interested in dual enrollment, we'll talk about that during your registration appointment and talk about what classes you might want to drop from your schedule if you do get accepted into the program. Seniors also have the option for early release late arrival. This is for any senior who has met graduation requirements and is on track to graduate. If you do want to take an early release or late arrival period when you're selecting courses, that counts as a class. So if you choose one early release each semester, that would count as 2 total classes. So you would only choose 6 other classes on your card. Everyone got an early release contract when we handed out your registration cards. If you need another one, you can print it from the registration website. Make sure that a parent has signed it before you turn it in. Otherwise, we will not be able to grant you early release. I would staple it to your registration card to make sure that it doesn't get lost when you turn it in on February 4th. If you look on the back of your card, there's a box that lists all of the options for the late arrival and early dismissal. So when you're marking your cards up, you can mark which semester and which period off you would like as an early release or a late arrival. Wanted to talk briefly about mid-year graduation. That is an option for any senior who has met the qualifications to graduate after just one semester. You will need 24 credits and to have met all of your course graduation requirements. There is a mid-year graduation ceremony. So if you are interested in finishing high school after one semester next year, please talk to your counselor about that during the registration meeting, and we will make sure that you're scheduled appropriately if that's something that is available to you based on what you've taken so far. If you're interested in mid-year graduation, it's important to note that you can't sign up for any year-long classes. And once you graduate mid-year, you are no longer a student at Ardrey-Kell, so you would not be eligible to participate in any spring activities, including that June graduation. So for the next week, we want you gathering information to fill out that card, making sure that you're talking to counselors and teachers and friends and parents to fill out the card with the best decisions for you for senior year. Counselors are going to be available at tables in the mall every day during lunches next week, so the week of January 31st. Feel free to bring your card over. We can go over it with you, answer any specific questions that you have. You're welcome to email your counselor at any time as well with questions about registration, but please check out the registration website first because there's a lot of information there. Remember that those cards are due in homeroom next Friday, February 4th, and then we will have counselor registration meetings in the Media Center throughout the months of February and March. We'll call you to the Media Center by homeroom and have those individual meetings. We hope that you'll have a great weekend. Come see us in the mall during lunches next week with questions.